Hey guys, for this activity, we're going to be converting fractions, decimals, and percents from one form to the other two. So notice that I have given you this handy chart on the slide before that you can reference if you're a bit unsure how to get from one form to the next. Okay, so we are given 1/4. So I need to go from a fraction and convert it to a decimal and a percent. So if I wanted to go from a fraction to a decimal, I could start at my fraction, and to get to the decimal, that tells me I can divide. Okay, so I can take 1/4 and 1 divided by 4 and do some long division. Now, if you've memorized in your chart, you may know that 1/4 is the same thing as a quarter, or 25%. So I know that off the top of my head. Okay, but if I wasn't sure, I could do 1 divided by 4. 4 does not go into 1, so I'm going to add a decimal. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. I have a remainder of 2. Bring down a 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. Okay, so again, I get 0.25. Okay, and to go from a decimal to a percent, so decimal to percent, I move my decimal point 2 places. Decimal to percent, I move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So 2 places to the right would be 25%. Again, 1/4 though is one of those fractions that you should have memorized as 0.25. Okay, so let's look at the next example. We are given the decimal and we need to go to a percent and to a fraction. So I think the easiest thing to do is convert the decimal to a percent, because when it comes to decimals and percents, all you're doing is moving your decimal place either to the right or to the left. Okay, so to go from a decimal to a percent, I have to move the decimal places 2 places to the right. So 1, 2. I see I'm missing a spot, so that really means I would be filling in a 0 here. So 0.8 would be 80%. Okay, now I need to go from a decimal or percent to a fraction. Okay, you could do this a couple ways. The easiest way is to look at your decimal and ask, how do you say that? So I know that this is in the tenths place. So 8/10 can be written like this. Now, that's not the best answer, because 8 and 10 are both even numbers, which means they're both divisible by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the best answer would be 4/5. Okay, for the last example I'm going to go over with you. Okay, 15%. So again, I think the easiest two conversions are from decimals and percents to decimals. So to go from a percent to a decimal, okay, I'm following my arrow this way, I need to move my decimal point 2 places to the left and remove the percent sign. So my decimal is really right here. So 2 to the left would be 0.15. And then now from a decimal to a fraction, okay, I just need to read this. Okay, and this is really 15/100. Okay, 15/100. And again, I'm writing that off to the side because that is not the best answer, because I can reduce my fraction. So since these two numbers both end in a 5 or a 0, then that means that they are divisible by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. So the best answer would be 3/20.